Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Gears 12 here, and today I'm bringing you a new album review from a newer band entitled Sabretung. They contacted me because they're good friends with BaleScream. If you didn't see that review of that newer band's material, the link in the description for that review. But these guys contacted me because they saw my review of BaleScream's material, and so they said, "Hey, would you mind reviewing our material?" And I'm like, "Why not?" And I'm glad that I took up this offer. And so let's just jump into this album. And so the album is entitled Collision. And I'm going to go right off the bat and say this. These are my highlights on the album. My personal highlights, the songs that I enjoyed the most. The opener, which is entitled An Offer of False Hope, which is a instrumental. It's about a little over a minute long, but it's a great opener for the album. Yes, the light, that's the computer. Also Deadline. The song Collision from the album Collision. Sadistic and Merciless, Endless Winter, and then the last track, Hedonistic, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, and Merciless, which is the closer of the album. And so let me jump off into the sound of this band and what this band is. This is a thrash metal band, and it is very obvious. The start of the opener of the song An Offer of False Hope, which is the instrumental that opens the record. It's very obvious. This band is like, yep, sorry about that, my throat. We are thrash. We are heavy. And then we go into Deadline. I'm not going to go through all the songs and talk about them, but I just want to give you a sense of what I started discovering through this band is that when the vocalist started singing, the first thing that hit my mind, besides all of the riffs and all this stuff, the thrash that's going on, the vocalist reminds me of the vocalist from Evil, which is another thrash band. Now, before I continue, when I compare the band to another band's sound or something like that, like I just did, compared the vocalist to Evil's vocalist, it's not to say the band is copying the other bands or saying this band is just, rehashing stuff and just doing stuff that people have already done. It actually makes me love this band more because it reminded me of a bigger band, and it made me go, wow, like these guys are taking what makes this band good and they're taking it to their own interpretation. So let's keep that clear. And so, like I said, the vocalist, he has this very aggressive yelling voice, a very aggressive sound that's coming from his vocals, and he's telling you stuff. He is yelling at you, and you feel it, and I felt it, and it was just really powerful. And then, like, that's what really stood out to me, was the vocalist. He's really just out there, and he's really, like, telling you stuff, and he's basically just giving you what he wants you to know. And I love that about a vocalist, is that he doesn't beat around the bush, he's straight to the point. And I just love the lyrical content that's involved, I love the vocals, I love that. On to the sound of the band, which, it's kind of hard to summarize it. So I'm going to try to summarize it my best way without explaining it too much, and the review gets really long and, repetitive and maybe boring to some people. But to sum it up, the guitars at least, not including the bass, but the guitars or thrash. Oh man, when I was hearing the opening riffs to the song Deadline, and really before we got to the vocalist, my first thought was some of Evil. I heard a little bit of Evil, but then another band that I discovered last year and I've really fell in love with is Silosis, a thrash metal band, and they are monstrous. And Sabretung is no different. This band is monstrous. The guitar tone is just incredible. I'm surprised of how great a quality the guitars are for this band that's not really known that much. The guitars are just crazy. They're very heavy, they're very aggressive, and it just really blew my mind. To the sound, not the sound of the guitars, but what I heard throughout this whole entire record on the guitar aspect is that the guitars are very fast-paced. There's a lot of riffage. There's really not a shortage of riffage. Sorry about that. Is that the riffs like to go in different directions you're not expecting, and the fact that this band is really musically gifted within the songwriting, because the riffs like to just change up randomly, like the infamous, chugging, alternate picking riffs that are palm muted, and then the fact that we go into this aggressive, like just alternate picking riffs that are just going crazy all over the frets. Just mind-blowing, really it is. It's really mind-blowing the number of different styles of riffs that go out through the whole entire record, and it makes me love this band. It makes me want to go, I want more from this band. So that's what the guitars really delivered, is that. And then onto the solos. The solos are just powerful. there's not a lot of moments where I'm going, the solo it doesn't seem like, you know, it's there for just because it's a solo. The solos are placed throughout the record in different areas in the songs to really just basically add something extra to the song that makes it stand out more. And so the solo adds that effect. On top of the fact that there's a lot of riff changes and a lot of different just, you know, musical changes that's going on through these songs, there's also these solos that give it a little bit extra, a little bit something different throughout the songs to really make it stand out. To the bass guitar, I love on the final track, which it's the closer of the album, is that the fact that the bass guitarist is finally highlighted and he's basically starting out the song with the drums. I love that. That was really cool. And then you go off into this really weird harmonizing bit with the guitars for like the first minute of the final track, which really stood out to me. Had to mention that. But yes, the bass guitar, very thrashy sound bass. And I love how the bass is audible throughout the whole entire record. That really makes this band stand out more, is that the bass is clearly audible, and I can actually hear the bass notes and get to hear the basses play along and not just the guitars all the time. The drums are very monstrous. The drums are what you'd expect from a thrash metal band. They're very aggressive. There's a lot of double bassing. There's a lot of, like, you know, drum fills. There's a lot of cool beat patterns, whatever you want to call them, goes out through the record. And this drummer doesn't feel like he's pushing limits or trying to do something that we've heard before. It feels like this drummer is just adding different stuff, because like I'm hearing like these drum patterns that I typically do not hear from thrash metal drummers. They're like the beats he's throwing in are unique, and they stand out, because when I hear a riff, I'm expecting this, you know, beat pattern, but then he goes in another direction, and then you expect this, and then he goes in another direction. I love that in a drummer. You can't guess what's going to happen next. You can't guess. I couldn't guess, and I love that. I loved every step of the way throughout this whole entire album, that I was surprised by the drummer and everything else, because I didn't know where songs were going to go when the next transition happens. There's no telling, because this band likes to keep you guessing, and I love that in a band. So overall, my thought of this band is that, wow, this band, I'm so glad you guys contacted me. I know you guys are watching, or one of you or something, but thank you for contacting me, because I love you guys. This album just is an amazing thrash record that really made me just go, I want more. There's only one gripe that I can say, and it's not really negative, so don't take it as a negative thing, but it's just one gripe I have to say. Where's the ballad? I'm just saying, thrash metal bands do ballads. I would have loved it if you guys had a ballad, but I can understand maybe you don't want to go that direction. But that's the one thing that I was expecting from a thrash metal band when you guys contacted me. I'm like, ooh, a ballad? No, I didn't really get a ballad, but what I got was an amazing album with 8 tracks of just monstrous music, and I love every minute of it, because when I go back through and listen to the whole entire album again, I'll be surprised with more stuff that I didn't catch the first time and all that other stuff, because each time I listened to the album I heard more and more stuff that really stood out, or maybe this riff stood out more than this riff when I thought this riff was the standout riff. Nope, this one is now. I love that. And I love the sound, and I love the way that you guys present yourself, and I love the song titles. I love everything about you guys, and I can't wait to review your next material, and your next material, and your next material. So, my rating for this album is a strong 8.75 out of 10. This is an amazing thrash album. I want you guys to check in the description for the Facebook link to their Facebook page, and to check out their YouTube channel, like link in the description as well. And just check out these guys and let them know that Chainsaw Gears 12 sent you. And that's really it, guys. That's the review. I hope you guys really do go check out these guys. They are a monstrous band, and I honestly see them rising up and getting a lot more notice in the coming future, because they deserve it, because this album, wow. So, like I said, guys, that's the review. If you like me and you like the video, like the video. And if you like me and you want to see more reviews from me, subscribe for more metal videos. And I will see you guys soon with the next Megadeth album review.